Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Fatback 4 podcast for this Sunday night with the LFC Daytrippers. This show is brought to you by THIAGO Watches, THIAGO.com. The link is in the description if you want to go and have a look at them. Watches, timepieces, as people called it last week, timepieces for men and women, jewellery and gifts. They have sent us some gifts, and we're going to show you them later on. But as I said, it's in the description, and also if you put in Daytrippers 15 with any order, you will get a further 15% off. So they're looking after you as well as us. West Ham won, Liverpool 3, the second 3-1 of the week for Liverpool in London, this time on the east end of it. Then Watts' gaff. But Liverpool went into this one looking to build on a win against Tottenham. Some results again went for Liverpool in the league over the weekend. And with me I have got Grizz, I've got Keith, and I've got Jamie home to talk about this. Grizz, I'm going to come to you first. It's great to see you. You look great. As always, we always start with the team, Grizz, and listen, don't even attempt to tell me that you expected that team.
I'm not. I can't. How can I lie to you? You guys.
Well, you do it loads of times.
No, I can't because I expressed my sadness in the group, and I can't. You got screenshots. No, I did, and I explained it to you that I wasn't doubting my club. I wasn't doubting my manager. I wasn't doubting anything of that sort. I was just sad to see the amount of injuries that we've got going into a season where we should be going back to back. And we're by far, in my humble opinion, the best team in the world and definitely the best team in the country. But with the injuries and then just even going into this game, sort of we find out that Mane's injured now. And then Bobby had a slight knock, so he's demoted to the bench. So look, I was sad at the start. I wasn't doubting anything or anything like that. I was sad, and then you see the replacements of those players being Divock Origi. I got a bit more sadder, and it happens. It's normal, guys. It's normal. It's absolutely normal. But this club is what it is. How it is, why it is. That just showed tonight what it is, why we love this club, and why we're crazy fucking mad about it. And again, for me personally, I don't know about you guys, and I'm sure you're going to give your opinion once I finish. But for me, today, Gav, that was the best performance, taking all things into consideration of the season so far. When I say taking into consideration that 7 or 8, I think, first team players missing. 7, 8. We're not talking a couple players missing. 7, 8 first team players missing. We're on the back of playing Spurs 72 hours ago. We've got to go with the same midfield of Gini, who's played every single minute. THIAGO, who's not as young as he used to be, and Milner, who's literally just taking oxygen after every game to keep going. And we've gone to a team that's flying. 6 wins in a row. Everyone talking about how Antonio and Cole were going to terrorize Henderson and Phillips. For me, it's the best performance of the season, and I'm so proud to be a Liverpool fan tonight.
Yes, Grizz, go on, lad. Love that.
He's flying, isn't he? He's absolutely flying. I'll bring him down a peg or two with the end, don't worry. Paul Gormley says, isn't it mad how Liverpool rule our mood? Yeah, because, Jamie, I'll come to you. Following the Spurs game the other night, we were all, just going, we were all loving what Liverpool done against Spurs the other night. I thought they dominated Spurs from start to finish. I thought 3-1 flattered Spurs, and I thought the way we played looked, and Klopp said it afterwards, it looked like more like Liverpool that you come used to. Did the mood change for you, Jamie, before the game? Because, Alisson's in goal, you've got Trent, you've got Robbo, Hendo's playing, he puts Phillips in, and then you have Wijnaldum, Milner playing another game. That's 3 games in 7 days, I think, full 90s. Well, not full 90 today, but it's still 3 games in 7 days. You have, of course, Mane doesn't make it, Firmino doesn't make it. Well, he's on the bench. You end up with Origi and Shaqiri. Were you a bit... you kind of wanted the same team out there after midweek, because it was a real chance to start gathering some momentum, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the biggest one that I was surprised with was probably Bobby Firmino, because I think Bobby's been the one where, I thought he was fantastic in Spurs. I think that's, the best version of Bobby Firmino that you could wish to see. So for him then not to have the ability to kick on again today surprised me. What I would say is, I noticed a change in this Liverpool team when we played Manchester United. Now, I know the result wasn't there for us, but you could see a lot from the performance that said to me, hold on, something's changing here. There was a little bit of intensity. And do you know who I'm going to give a lot of credit? James Milner. James Milner came into that Liverpool team against Manchester United, got about the pitch, was aggressive, had a little bit of bite in there. Look, the goals, I'm not going to go into Manchester United too much, but you can pinpoint what the goals were caused by. But from an attacking sense, Liverpool looked like they were starting to build again. Then you see us against Spurs, and it was like I don't want to say Liverpool of old, because we never really went away. We just had, a couple of problems to solve over a few games. I think you're now starting to see that this team is coming back into the conversation. I think you look at the spine of that team today. Jordan Henderson was absolutely immense. I think Phillips deserves huge credit for what he did. I think he was superb. Everything that he did, he was aggressive. He knows his level. He's not going to try and be a ball playing centre back. What he does is defend, and he defends well. I think he was massively helped by having the leadership of Henderson alongside him. But I just think you're starting to see the big players show up again now, Gav. I think Trent, not only offensively and how he's playing the ball, he's brave, but defensively, I think his shape is a lot better. I think Mo Salah showed today why he's one of the world's best strikers. I just think there's so much promise about this Liverpool team, particularly now when you look at the players that we've still got to come back. I think they've been annoyed by some of the things that's been said in the press. A lot of people have been quick to write them off. And I think you're starting to see this team now starting to answer some of those questions.
It's interesting. As Mahmoud says, great win. He feels the diamond helped us control the game. And then Jones changed the game when he carried the ball beyond the lines. P.S. Salah is back. It's interesting you mentioned Milner, because I think you're right. I think we did see something at Manchester United. Now, the result didn't go away, but we did see something in a game that started to look a bit more like us. And the one thing you'll say from Milner, does he cover the ground as fast as he used to? Blah, we can go on about this. He's 35 odd years of age now, whatever. But he has got an intensity about him, but he smashes balls at people when he's passing them. They're not passed to yet nice and easy. He bashes balls into you. He makes you think. He makes you be on your toes. And I think, that looked like it was coming back against United and against Wolves and again today. But like overall, the lineup, I'm going to be honest, I was fucking hell, Divock Origi. And I was okay with Shaqiri because he'd been in the team. He was out there for midweek. He was back in again. I was okay with that. The Phillips one, not overly worried. I think he had a decent 45 against Spurs, but I'm with you. I really wanted Firmino on the pitch. I'd made peace with Mane, wouldn't be there, but I wanted Firmino on the pitch because I felt he would have been key to unlocking a lot of what a West Ham defence have been decent, but Firmino can be the difference. Keith, what were you like? Were you a bit? You weren't you? You were up in the clouds. You fucking thought it was a great 11.
No, do you know what, right? Divock is the one that sort of had us all scratching our heads, right? Whenever you see Divock come into the team now, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, Divock, he doesn't run, he doesn't move, he's a big burly centre forward who can't ball anyone off the ball. He's a big burly winger who gets upended by fullbacks. And I just don't see, Shaqiri was running around like a blue arse fly trying to press them when the defenders had the ball, and Shaqiri was Origi was just standing there, so he was the frustrating one. But I thought he picked her up in the second half. To be honest, I thought he was better second half. But the lineup itself, we all knew what the defense was going to be, right? So there was no surprises there. The midfield, I agree with what Jamie has said. James Milner coming into that team. And I thought James Milner's best days were beyond him now. I thought we'd sort of seen him phased out and that we wouldn't be seeing him making an impact. But he's come in the last few games.
In the middle, Keith, I think, as well. I think he's done well at fullback. I think it was Leicester. He was fizzing balls in, but in midfield, it's a lot to ask a Liverpool midfield for a lad of his age.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And he's doing brilliant. And Stefan Mack puts a good point in the chat there. Divock was in for his height. And look, we all know it's the only reason he stayed on as long as well was because of his aerial threat. Not that he really offers much protection or anything like that in the air. But we don't have many tall players. But to see them going as the comment said about the 4-4-2 diamond, it was an interesting. I'd love to see that 4-4-2 diamond played more often with Bobby.
Different personnel, yeah,
with Mo and Bobby or Mane or Jota when he comes back. You know, I think we've said maybe teams are sussed us out with the 4-3-3 a bit. Well, it just throws something a bit extra at them. You know, you can put Bobby in the Shaqiri role, even drop him into the midfield. You know, there's a few connotations you can do with that. So, look, we were all shocked. Even us Clouds men were shocked with the Divock inclusion. But he was not anonymous. He wasn't great in the first half, but he did improve in the second half. To be fair to him,
yeah,
we could slate him, but he did improve.
Yeah, Ramos Khalil says amazing performance from the lads, especially in the second half. Mo showing us a bit of his magic. Jones with an instant impact. Any thoughts on Ben Davies? We will talk about the centre half stuff towards the end of the show. We're not giving it an hour like we did last week, I promise. But we will absolutely talk about it. Kieran Thorne says that performance, and this is a good one. That performance today was reminiscent of us at our best last season. Total patience and played like we were the best team in Europe. Grizz, that's a fair point, because getting into the game, you know, we are looking at Antonio, the lad on the right wing whose name escapes me, who's Bowden, is it?
Bowen. Yeah,
Bowen. He's very decent. You know, they were talking about Cresswell's delivery, Rice, most overrated footballer in the Premier League, in the midfield for them.
Souček.
Yeah, Souček was built up, and in fairness, Souček's really, really good off set pieces. But Grizz, I genuinely. We spoke about this during the week, and I thought West Ham would sit and look to break on us, and I was a bit worried about that, because I think we're usually suited to that, but not with the defence we have at the moment. But I have to say, I thought we dealt with them excellently, and that point Kieran Thorne makes about us being patient, I thought was a really, really good
one. Absolutely controlled them from the very first minute. It's very difficult to sort of talk up a good game against Liverpool all week. So all these teams that we hear about sort of coming to play Liverpool, and you hear their fan bases, or maybe even their coaches talking about, well, you know, like Moyes was talking about beforehand, like, well, last season we were languishing near the bottom of the table and Liverpool were flying. So it was a different scenario, whereas we're going into 6 wins in a row, and they're struggling a bit with defensive issues. So we'll give it a good go. But once that kickoff, the ball kicks off, and you try to get the ball off us when we're really zipping it about, those conditions suited us as well. I thought the control in midfield was absolutely key to this game. We starved them of any possession to try to find Antonio on the break, and that was the key. Did you say who just made that comment about patience? Kieran Thorne.
Kieran Thorne, yeah.
Kieran Thorne just made that comment about patience, and he's spot on. It so reminded me of last season in terms of control. Keep working them. And by the second half, they were shattered, lads. They were fucking shattered. They had so much chasing to do in that first half. And Ginny, THIAGO, and Milner, and Shaqiri to a certain degree were key to that. I thought the way they moved the ball around and just kept it away from them. We didn't overcommit in that first half as well, and that's why, because Robertson was slightly less overlapping than usual, but just to control proceedings. Just absolutely. He knows he's playing alongside Henderson, who's third, fourth game there now. Phillips, who's, sort of everyone's building up to sort of get terrorized by Antonio. Well, I didn't see that. I did not see that at all. Trent was so normally they take sort of normally Robertson's the one that overlaps, whereas Trent plays from a deeper position and passes it around and is a playmaker. I saw a slight change this time because Salah was inverted far more. Trent, I thought, was far more attacking than Robertson, but it was a plan that worked. It was a plan that I don't think Moyes and West Ham were ready for. It suited our players. Some people were saying Shaqiri was playing as a false 9. I don't think he was. I think he was just playing as a 10. literally as a 10. I don't think he made any runs.
I think Klopp made reference to it, Grizz. Klopp turned around and said that at one point it was meant to be THIAGO and Shaq as a double 10. The plan originally was to get THIAGO as high up the pitch as possible. But I think if you actually look, what surprised me, that the average positions of the players, I think it was actually Milner that was the only one, particularly in the first half, that was looking to break the line and go in beyond. And supposedly he was meant to have a tight hamstring going into that game.
Jamie,
so Klopp said to him, stop running, let the others do it.
That was absolutely spot on, because I mentioned James Milner with those runs, even against Man United and Spurs. He was the one midfielder that was actually making runs and supporting the front lads. And it's a deterrent. It's another option. It gives strikers and forwards more options, more space, another person, another body to deal with. And the intelligence of it's not just his energy. People talk about James Milner's energy and, his never say die attitude. It's his bloody football intelligence to know when to make those runs. I thought that, as I said, the control in that first half, or the opening 20, 30 minutes, Gav, was very much like last season. Very much.
Free World wants me to pause the podcast, go off and ring the police and check and report the missing Man United fans that were in the chat here last week. You know where they've gone, bud. You know where they've gone. Chris Brack says he loved Tyler and Neville digging themselves a hole. Playing LFC down and employing THIAGO was an issue. As soon as we went in front, they flipped. I don't know why I listen to these people. I really don't. I really can't. There's a lot of people saying that the chat is freezing on them or it's pausing on them. If you are having problems with YouTube, we have done nothing different tonight than we do any other night. So if you are having an issue, or what I would suggest is come out of YouTube. If you're close down the app, wherever it might be, force stop it, whatever you need to do, and go back in, because we have done nothing different tonight. So it's obviously a problem at YouTube's end. Musa LFC says 3 games in a row. He started at 35. I love him, obviously in relation to James Milner. And listen, he's been excellent. He really has. And I'd have him in against City. I really would. I'd probably take him out against Brighton. I think it's one game too far, but we'll have to wait and see. We've done this to West Ham before, though. We've done this 4-2-2-2 before at West Ham, and I think it might have been the one where we win 4-1. You remember the one where Salah runs the length of or Mane and Salah run the length of the pitch, and Ox is involved that day, and it really turned into a 4-2-2-2, and we tore them apart. So it's obviously something that we've looked at and think we can get at West Ham in that way as well. I don't know if Moyes was the manager at that time as well, but it's something we have done to West Ham before. I think what it does is they're looking for their fullbacks to get forward, but I think what happens is when we go so narrow, the fullbacks have to stay a little bit narrow to protect their centre-backs, and it gives room to where fullbacks to go and do what they want to do, and it worked really, really well today. The first half, it progresses, and to be honest with you, Jamie, I was a bit wary. I'm always like this when Liverpool are playing teams, and Liverpool are being solid. They're being patient. They're walking the ball. They're getting the odd chance. They're giving the odd chance away as well. But I'm always a bit wary that you can get that sucker punch and you go in 1-0 down and you're kind of shaking your head going, how the fuck did that happen? But it gets to half time, and when it gets there, you thinking, we need a change here. Because although we're fairly well in control, a bit of magic, something has to come from somewhere. Was that your thinking at half time?
Yeah, it was a mix, really. I looked at the first half and I thought in possession, I thought we moved the ball well. I thought probably the main issues we were facing, I think Origi wasn't offering us enough. I don't think he was running in behind. I don't think he was holding the ball up. I don't think he was doing much of anything, to be honest. So a lot of the build-up was good until it reached him and then it broke down. We also then, other than Milner, we didn't really have midfielders looking to break him beyond. So we'd get to a point and we'd just seem to pass sideways. So it was either a mix of Klopp getting them in at half-time, and I have huge faith in Klopp's half-time team talks. He usually will pick one or two things and we come out a different side. I felt if we just moved the ball a little bit quicker and more direct, look to play through the lines, get turned quickly, I felt we would be okay. I thought it was a matter of time before Firmino came on for Origi. That was the change I think everybody was kind of waiting for, whether it was going to, he loves his changes around 65 minutes. I had in my head the two I'd have made were the two that we saw, Curtis Jones coming on, because I actually think he's another one. If you look since United, I think that break out of the team has done him wonders. I think he's come back into the side. Even playing on the left, I think he offered a different threat when playing against United. I thought for a lad his age, his composure, his ability to keep the ball, his ability to drive at people, I just thought it was a real nice change to make. So I just think at this time, this Liverpool team, the way that they're starting to build a little bit of momentum, it's just like they've got their swagger back. And I think they would have found a way to solve that problem. And I think it was it Kieran Thorne who mentioned the patience. I think when you're going to play against a team of this nature who want to sit in, you've got to stay patient. You don't start having pop shots from 40 yards. That's usually a telltale sign you're getting frustrated. Be patient, move the ball quickly, and be brave. And Liverpool started to do that in abundance and scored some of the most fantastic counter-attacking goals I think I've seen in the last 10, 15 years. There was some breathtaking stuff.
Yeah, I've tried to get past the first half as quick as I could because I want to get to these goals. Before
we move on, can I just say, right, about the first half, people are, nothing happened. I think that plays down how good Liverpool were in the first half without creating any chances, because all we heard in the lead up to this game was how West Ham are going to do this, West Ham are going to do that. Don't give them a free kick, don't give them a set piece. They're going to get them in the air. They're going to do what West Ham are going to do. Liverpool dominated them. West Ham didn't get a sniff. Now, we didn't create any chances, and I know that's what gets the goals. But I think it plays down how good Liverpool were in the midfield. Certainly, I think dominated the West Ham players, and they didn't get their players into the game at all. Souček done nothing. They didn't get Declan Rice was pony as he usually is, and the players behind the Mikel Antonio, who gets made out to be the Brazilian Ronaldo at times when he's not.
Grizz,
you know what I mean?
That's only when I captain him in my FPL. He usually is, so relax.
Don't get me wrong, he's a Antonio and he's caused those problems. But the way it was made out to be was Liverpool were going to be battered by Antonio today, and Nat Phillips had him in his pocket. And the first half, we done such a good job dominating them in the first half that took them totally out of their stride. Never mind, us not doing it. Didn't let them play their game. And before we moved on,
I think it took a lot out of them. I really do, because I genuinely was expecting
West Ham.
Yeah, I do. In that first half did, because I was genuinely expecting Keith them to come with. They were going to look for Bone. They were going to look for Antonio, right? And they'd sit back. Now, I'm not talking edge of the box stuff, but they were going to be very compact and look to hit the right wing or the left channel for Antonio, their left channel, their right. And I thought that they felt that might be their way home in it. And I just think the way Liverpool, like you're right, they kind of took a bit of belief out of West Ham. They made sure they ran. And I think
That's
see it.
Exactly what we done, yeah.
And at the start of the second half, you see it because Rice gets booked, Souček gets booked. They're all booked very early in the second half. It's like they lose their discipline a little bit because they're chasing and they're being constantly moved around the pitch. And them bookings are big because it opens it up where Souček can't touch you now, Rice can't touch you now, and that's the middle of the park. So if you want to play more football in around there, take a few more risks, you can, because if they don't, they can't touch you. Yeah, go on, Jamie.
Do you know what it is? That second half performance doesn't happen without the first, and it's the mental break. So Liverpool move the ball. West Ham, although it looks kind of easy for Liverpool, West Ham are constantly switched on. They don't get a mental break. They know one break in their setup and Liverpool are in, so they're constantly moving, constantly talking. And then when they do get the ball, you could see they were like, "Oh shit, what do we do with it now?" And they look to clip it long, and we'd get the ball and recycle. And it was constant pressure. And I think you're dead right. Their legs ultimately fell off in the second half. It was complete and utter domination. And one thing to call out, because I think Grizz touched on it before, the reason we were able to get that platform is a big part due to Gini Wijnaldum, who I think in the six, since Klopp made the slight change for Manchester United, and he deserves a lot of credit, not only Gini Wijnaldum, but also Klopp for making the change, because I think a lot's been said when we lose Henderson and Fabinho out of the middle, we don't look the same side. He's been able to kind of fall upon Milner with a bit of bite, experience, drive. THIAGO is now further up the pitch, so he can influence and bring the attackers in more, which is where we want to see him. But Gini Wijnaldum's ability to move his body and keep the ball when pressed, I think it's fair to say that's probably Henderson's weakness when in the six, when he's pressed. Fabinho is also excellent at it. Gini Wijnaldum now has stepped in and looks like a specialist number 6 for me. He's been super.
I completely agree with you, and he's been absolutely sensational at the number 6. And
we both agree, Chris. We both agree it's his best position, don't we?
We've discussed it in private as well. But this is the thing where I'm going to slightly, maybe it's to some people, it might be I'm having a dig at Gini. See, the difference with him going to that number 6, what's this enabled us to do is our build-up is so less predictable now with the other two lads. THIAGO makes the build-up play totally unpredictable, whereas Gini was brilliant at recycling it out to the fullbacks crossing in. This time round, the passing and control and the build-up play was far less predictable since Gini's gone at the 6. Now, yes, of course, he's got his strengths and he's an absolute monster and he's a revelation at that 6. As I've said, and Gav, I know you agree as well, that's his position for me in this Liverpool side when Fabinho's not there, which may be the case for the remainder of the season. But I just think it also adds to the rest of the play, especially in the build-up. Let's not forget, do you remember Trent was accused of cross after cross after cross in previous games? Just all he was doing was getting the ball from Gini and then just whipping it in. Well, someone sent me a text saying Liverpool attempted 8 crosses today in the whole of 90 minutes, as opposed to 3 weeks ago when Trent done 19 himself. So we just varied the way. It's a totally different way of building up.
It is, and but a lot of that for me is down to confidence and being taking more risks in the final third. Liverpool were going through a crisis of confidence, and the easiest thing to do is put the ball out wide and get it in the box and hope something happens. Whereas now what you're seeing is Firmino drop in, you're seeing Shaqiri when he plays drop in, you're seeing Jones pick it up and run at people, you're seeing Gini do it the odd time. There's one goal there. There's one goal there today with Jordan Henderson is the closest man to the goal scorer. Jordan Henderson is playing centre back for Liverpool today. This is the risk that they're willing to take. It's like the shackles have come off a little bit, and probably in defiance at people having a go over the last month. But that is, I think, is a huge part of it. The risks they're willing to take in the final third now. And it may be a case of, because THIAGO's there, because THIAGO's going, I'm not playing a simple ball to you 6 yards. It's not happening. I will spin one in behind for you if you want to chase, but I'm not fucking playing this game that you want to play.
Can I say about his pass for Origi before we move on to the second half? Oh, lads, if we'd have scored that, I think that would have been it for me. That would have been my Christmas, my birthday presents in one. Yeah. What a pass that was.
Yeah, it was unbelievable, and that's where it comes back to what Grizz has said. It's that different approach that we have, and we've all said it before and when he signed, he brings a different dimension to us, and we'll even see more of that when we get players back and you start to see an actual proper Liverpool 11. It'll be unbelievable. I have to read this out. Kieran Thorne says, and I'm with you on this, Kieran. He says, watch the game with no crowd noise. Hope to God there's another Henderson voice video. All I could hear was him praising the midfield 3 passing. Them videos annoy loads of people, and I love them. I absolutely love them. Because the best thing about it for me is that Henderson never touches the ball in them. Ever. He just shouts loads of stuff, runs around, tells people they're great, and I think it's amazing. John Nightingale says, Grizzy, okay for watches there, fella. Grizz did get a present. He did get a present off Tayrock, and he just, if I bought him another one now, he'd wear 3. He would. He's just
around his neck, like
he's just
flavour.
He's BA. He's getting there. But lads, into the second half, I've spoken about the bookings for West Ham and stuff like that, and we go 1-0 up through Mo Salah. And Keith, we've spoken about this loads. Ever since Mo Salah bangs that win against Chelsea at Anfield the season before last now, we're going, he's going to do that every week now, isn't he? But today, there was something about that one today where it's Cresswell, I think he faces up, and Cresswell is terrified of him dropping the shoulder and going outside him and burning him, and lets him come in, and and then bang, he puts one in the top corner, and it was a brilliant finish, wasn't it? And we needed it. We really, really needed it.
Yeah, because you can dominate the ball as much as you want, and we've done that in games and had nothing to show for it. But for Mo to get that, he's in good form now. It's not just that he's scoring goals; he's scoring good goals, and he's playing a lot better as well. And that's a typical Mo Salah finish. That one, I was delighted to see that one go in, because it's one in his 4th season he was doing this blading every week nearly. He was getting it, pushing it out and hitting them into the top corner, and it sort of died away. People have copped onto it, but not only have people copped onto it, his execution of it hasn't been great. If I'm being honest, he's not hitting them very well. But that one was a cracker, and it was one that, as you say, it was a good move. It was good. It's Curtis Jones, isn't it, that drives at them? He's only on the pitch, and you know it's a good move all around. There's the incident then with Millie's not happy that he's got the curly finger, and then breaking a shite laughing with Klopp then when it goes in. You know, it was just it was what Liverpool deserved. It was no less than we deserved.
But even that substitution was significant, very significant, especially with the comments afterwards. I don't know if we've discussed them. We haven't. Where Klopp supposedly have said to James Milner, do less running now and start working the ball more.
Yeah.
Because like we've discussed, West Ham were out of it on their feet by the 60th minute because literally we've kept the ball from them for that amount of time that they're chasing. And just like the rest of the Premier League teams, they've had to play every 2-3 days as well now. And not many squads or not many teams can handle it. And this is why there should be more respect on our name. Because we're doing this, we're doing this with our squad bare bones. And that's why. So I think that Curtis Jones' substitution was very crucial.
Well, United Central, I think he's your mate, Grizz.
Saeed, a.k.a. Man.
So before I read this out, Saeed came in and lashed you over here last week in an absolute attack from behind. But today he says Liverpool are back, lol, until next week. What would you like to say to Saeed, Chris?
No, I'm happy. Look, first and foremost, thank you for the super chat. Absolute gentleman of a guy. But look, Saeed's entitled to sort of say these kind
Lovely
of things. Their season's over. Right, let's get it straight. They won the title in January. Their season's over. It's all about having Diggs. It's back to Liverpool Diggs now, isn't it? And that shows you like sort of the levels of the two teams.
United fans are back to supporting City now, aren't they?
Exactly. But thank you for the super chat, lol.
Yeah, Blue Moon on the Spotify from early doors next Sunday, I reckon. Jamie, I'm going to give you the second goal, right? And it's a shame that we can only give it to one person, but here we go. West Ham have a corner. It's headed out by Andy Robertson, I think. And then it lands at Trent, and then all hell breaks loose. What a fucking goal that was.
I watched it back before. I made my son watch it back with me before. Like we were sat down, and they didn't even have to take a second touch to steady themselves. Trent absolutely laces it. If you watch Shaqiri, he doesn't take a touch. He just whips it first time. Yeah. So there's 2 touches of the ball. And then Mo, do you know his first touch? The only other touch I can remember that was slightly better or equally as brilliant, whichever way you want to put it, was Luis Suarez against Newcastle. In that the balls come over from a distance. He had no room there. He had to stop it dead on a wet day. If that bobbled a little bit more, the keeper comes in and sweeps it. The touch and the composure, that is, as I said before, that is genuinely, and I know I like to get overexcited when it comes to Liverpool, but that is one of the most...
You're allowed to do.
Honestly, that is one of the most breathtaking counter-attacking goals. You can't defend that. You can't defend that. And that's brilliant.
Sorry. While Jamie sorts himself out there, Mohammed says the best 15 seconds ever, even better than the first night of my honeymoon.
I tell you what, I bet you didn't realise you're going to highlight that now.
Oh well, listen, it's up there now, brother. Just don't let the wife say it. It's all right. What happens in here, we don't tell anybody. It's okay.
Nah.
But Jamie, it was just. But you say about the touch, right? And I get it's Suarez, Newcastle 13-14 that you're talking about. But you know the comparisons you get with Salah and Messi and the goal scoring records. I thought that had Messi written all over it. The way he kills it and then just doesn't even shoot. He just lifts it as if to go, I'm just putting it there.
If that was Messi, that would be on loop and people would be talking about it for weeks on end. It was a breathtaking piece of individual brilliance from him. And I think I've seen a stat now. Don't quote me, or actually, if Chris Brack is in the comments, I'm sure he'll correct me because he'll know the answer. But I think Mo Salah is now 19 goals behind Ryan Giggs to break the all-time record, Premier League record for goals as a winger. Bear in mind that Ryan Giggs played 20 seasons. So that just puts into perspective how good what this fella has been doing on a consistent basis. I think it's 20 goals 4 seasons in a row now. He's not even an out-and-out striker. the moments of brilliance that guy can produce. He's a breathtaking footballer who doesn't get half the credit that he should.
A couple of people in the chat, and I think Graham Souness pointed it out. And,
God, I thought you were going to say Graham Souness was in the chat. We're missing David Moyes. Someone pointed that out as well.
Just the night we need David Moyes back in the chat. But Graham Souness and a couple of lads in the chat have pointed out the way and the manner he controlled it, Jamie. He didn't control it with the instep or the outstep of his left. Because normally in that situation, absolutely. Because normally what Mo does is controls it with his outside of his left foot when the ball's coming from the left-hand side, right? But he couldn't because, as you said, he had to have it ready for him for the next touch to be a poke or a shot into the goal. So what he does, he kind of like basketballs it sort of with the sole of his foot and kills it dead. And it's instant finish with his right foot. Oh, sorry, the same foot. Absolute cold, but it shows you the level or the state of his mind by that. Gav touched upon the confidence our team had in the first half to play that football, to keep patient, and it all comes with confidence. But that shows you the state of mind, because a lot of people were putting pressure on Salah. He hasn't scored. He looks out of sorts. He's dropped his down tools. We had all these kind of things, but that just shows you the state of his mind in that game. And he spoke about it afterwards, the responsibility that no Bobby, no Mane, it's all about him. And my God, does he rise to the occasion near enough every single time.
He's unbelievable. Marcus Barnes says, Paul Joyce reporting we are trying for Caleta Carr, who's the Marseille centre-back.
Chris Khan reported before that.
And Grizz Khan did tell us about this earlier. AA says, and thanks for the super chat again, rumours that we will bring in 2 centre-backs tomorrow. We will get the centre-backs, I promise. We will get the centre-backs. Ben Davis from Preston is the other one that's being linked. Yeah. But look, it's 2-0 Keith. I have to let you have your say on this one, because it's just a majestic goal. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't listen to Tyler and Neville. I don't know what the reaction was to it, because I watch it elsewhere. But like, I don't know. Like, did Neville do it like a big like he's done for fucking tap-ins for United? No, he didn't do anything. No. None of that.
You don't get. There's a few audible grounds when West Ham were nearly getting in. Apart from that, we didn't get much of the sort of shit you'd get when it's against Liverpool. But look, they are what they are. That they're horrendous. They're horrific on commentary. The pair of them. I don't care what anyone says. They are getting worse, Jamie. And people can say, "Oh, they're not against Liverpool." Martin Tyler, I'm not saying he's a Manchester United fan, but he is not a Liverpool fan by any stretch of the imagination. And his commentary on Liverpool games is fucking disgraceful. But on that goal, like, a special mention to Shaq's ball in there, because that was an absolute dinger. I thought he hits it so high, I'm like, that's a bleeding awful ball. And it just drops. Because for Mo to be able to control that under them conditions, that ball has to just come out of the skies and drop on your foot. Do you know what I mean? It has to be, Mo's touch is excellent, but the pass helped them as well, And Shaqiri's a player that doesn't get much credit. His role in that goal is one of the best, if not the best, counter-attacking goal I've seen in the Premier League. Manchester United scored one when, I think it was Park or something, Parky's son against Arsenal. Ronaldo and Rooney, I think, are the same thing. Arsenal had a corner and United broke and went up and scored. That goal is even better, in my opinion, because I think it was Jamie alluded to, Trent, first time ball, bang. Shaqiri, first time ball, bang. And the only one that has to take a touch is Mo, and it's a touch from the gods that he takes, kills it with his right foot, and then just flicks it with his left. It's, it had everything. It's one of the best goals.
I think even the West Ham players applauded at one point, mate.
Yeah.
It was that good.
Stefan Max says, first player to hit 20 4 seasons in a row since Ian Rush. Of course, that is Mo Salah. Free World says, Martin Tyler was gushing at the mouth begrudgingly. Veranda Cheese says, Gary did praise the goal, saying it was fantastic, but there was no audible like stuff that you'd hear for other goals that aren't Liverpool related.
It's strange from Sky to have them on that kind of game, Gav. It's true. I mean, there is no passion and there is no love, because naturally, look, it's very difficult for him to get excited about Liverpool coming back and United sort of season over. Do you know what I mean? And he's burning inside, he's hating inside. So it's a strange decision to have that sort of duo commentating on Liverpool games.
Now, don't get me wrong, you don't want like a Carragher on there either, and somebody that's just going to be pro Liverpool. All you want from a commentator is to be, not be biased or to be fair.
Guys, have you listened to Ali McCoist? Have you listened to
Ali McCoist is amazing.
He's great, yeah.
Oh, he's fucking brilliant.
Because he's passionate and he enjoys it.
Absolutely.
Peter Drury and Ali McCoist. If I could pick two, that'd be my duo.
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant, Ali McCoist is. But look, it's a fantastic goal, and you're right, Keith. That ball is brilliant from Shaqiri, but it's a case of the ball having to land where Salah is, rather than Salah going to control where the ball is going to land because of the conditions and where it's coming from. But the finish is just. It's a real kind of fuck off goalkeeper. You don't even bother. What are you even doing there? It was so nonchalant, but it was so instinctive as well. He's very little time to think about it. And Salah's at his best, I think, when he's like that. Someone in the chat did say that pure instinct, and I think that's a very, very, very good point. And look, it's 2-0 and you're saying, yeah, this is absolutely perfect. And like we all say in the group, we need a third, lads, because West Ham can get one back, and you never know. 15 to go, they might get a bit of life into them or whatever it might be if they get one back. But Grizz, Liverpool go and make it 3, and this is another lovely work goal. Firmino into Oxlade-Chamberlain, gets the little flick back from him, and very unselfishly puts it across Wijnaldum. But I did laugh at the West Ham goalkeeper's attempt to save it. I tell you, go back and watch it. Just watch the goalkeeper. It's absolutely brilliant. It's literally like the goalkeepers in FIFA 95. It was unbelievable. But Grizz, it was another brilliant goal, wasn't it? And it showed again the confidence coming back into the side, because if you look where Firmino gets that, Grizz, 3 weeks ago, he turns and looks for Alexander-Arnold to give it to him and put it in the box. But this time it's all about driving at defences, right at the heart of them, and seeing what we can do.
It was the ultimate tiki-taka goal, where initially when we get the ball, if you go back to the start of the move, it's absolutely just killing time. We're keeping the ball away from them and trying to see how long we can keep the possession for. So THIAGO's playing a couple of wall passes with Curtis Jones with the defenders, keeping the ball. And then suddenly we just quicken up the pace. And do you know what I really liked about the goal, apart from, the bit at the end where the dummy and Firmino injects the pace, is Ox's injection of pace into it as well. Because this is the fucking reason we bought Ox for, to do that kind of thing. And it just brought back memories of fully fit peak Oxlade-Chamberlain, because he injects the first pace in the move, the quickness of the ball, drives into it, and then once Bobby gets hold of it, Bobby's brain is so fast and he's thinking 3 moves ahead, 3 passes ahead, and usually or sometimes it doesn't come off, but what he's trying to do. I thought it was. I know Mo Salah's was absolutely incredible and got me off my seat and everything, but this one got me to sort of just smile to myself, because I thought, well, you talked about the goalkeeper being the sort of, how he is in those Subbuteo games, but I thought the football that we played was Subbuteo level as well. It was fantastic. The one touch, the intricacy around the box. What I was laughing at was they were asking Carlton Cole to sort of describe the intricacies and the deft touches. And I couldn't stop laughing. Like, imagine asking him to explain what happened in that move. I mean, you didn't know, the defenders were tired by then and backing off. Oh, fuck off. Get back in your box, you can. That was absolutely sublime. Honest to God, it was beautiful to watch. And, Bobby, that's Bobby for you. Could have had a shot, pressure on him. Bobby doesn't score enough, but he still chose the better option, which was a tap-in. And guess who was at the tap-in? Gini Wijnaldum, our number 6, our deepest line midfielder, still has the energy to get into the box.
And the celebration as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, we got to say TikTok goal. Yeah, that's right.
Olivier says in 2021 we say TikTok goal, Grizz. So just there you go, another one there you can throw around during the week, and see how it gets on. You can test it during the week and then maybe come back next week.
See if it's got any legs.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out if it has any legs, and we go from there. But the game's over. It's 3-0. It's a good win, and the only kind of mark against the Keith is the goal we concede, and people were originally having a go at Phillips because do you think he's missed a header? But Robertson's just stretching and gets a touch in it, and the defender, Dawson, finishes it to make it 3-1. And that's the only kind of, not black mark on the game. It's not a clean sheet, but it's the only downer on a really, really, really solid performance, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. You know, it would have been. I feel Nat Phillips and Hendo deserved a clean sheet for their performance today, and that goal, it was a scaldy one because, yeah, Phillips is getting unfair criticism for not dealing with that, but it's clear as day that Robbo gets the touch and it just takes it away from him and just lands on the toe of Craig Dawson. Can't miss, really, you know what I mean? You just let it hit you and it's going to go in. But yeah, we were excellent. You know, it was Liverpool back to its best, and the way the narrative around this game was, this was a banana skin. This was a tough game. West Ham done nothing, and they didn't deserve that goal. In my opinion, they didn't deserve a consolation goal in the 80 odd minute. You know, we were robbed of a clean sheet, in my opinion. Like I said, I think Henderson. We're going to talk about players that performed, right? But lads, that centre half pairing today didn't put a foot wrong against the team that was supposedly our kryptonite and our Achilles heel of, you know, high balls. Carlton Cole said it again, another nugget at the start. I'd be bullying them and I'd be doing this and that. He wouldn't have got near them. You know, like Mikel Antonio gets touted as this battering ram forward and he done nothing. Nat Phillips had him under control for the whole game. I'm gutted we conceded that goal because I do genuinely feel that the lads, for the shift that they've put in, deserve a clean sheet.
Yeah, and you know what was big? Just touching on Phillips, before we do man of the matches and stuff. But in the first half, I think Antonio faces him up, and you're thinking, "Oh, here we go," and he tries to go by him, and Phillips stays with him, and gets the ball away, and you're like, "That's huge for the fan watching, but it's huge for him knowing, well, yeah, he's had a go." And I've kept up with him because he can defend, this fella. He can defend. Yeah. But what you're worrying about is he's inexperienced. He's not that young. He's 23 now, is he? Yeah. But he's inexperienced. His last experience of football was this German second division. And, you know, in these games, will it work? Possibly. But you're always a bit wary because of the style of play we have and what we want to do ourselves and what's behind us. When you had Gomez, Van Dijk or Matip or whatever, you were confident that even if we pushed on and people got away from us, them boys at the back of the sort, you're still waiting to see that from Phillips. Now, it may happen, but I wouldn't throw him. I think it's throwing him under a bus, asking him or Williams to do anything near the 16 or 17 games, even shared in that over the rest of the season. And that's why we get on to centre halves in a little minute. But Jamie, let's do man of the matches. I think it's another hard one to pick, but I'll let you go first.
Yeah, it's a nice problem to have when there's a load of players going through your mind. I mean, you could cherry pick a lot. For me, it's between Mo Salah and Jordan Henderson, closely followed by Phillips would kind of be the ones that are in my mind. I think you have to give it to Salah because of the sheer moments of brilliance. I think, you've found Liverpool playing against similar types of sides over the last few weeks, and we've struggled. I cannot tell you how important the first goal in those games are. It just, the weight of the world then just drops off your shoulders and you see teams then become very expressive. When you're still trying to find that gap, you start thinking from 60 minutes, Jesus, is it going to be one of those days? Is it going to be one of those days? I mean, Mo Salah has produced two absolute worldies today. And for that, he pips the other two.
Okay. Grizz, I'll let you go next.
It's very difficult to, again, what Jamie said, very difficult to, when you get a performance like that, to pick a man of the match almost, it's really sad. You can't, it feels so sad for the others. Mo Salah was out of this world, so he gets it, but honourable mentions, like you said. There was one clearance from Phillips when in the first half they get a free kick.
The header.
And naturally, because we haven't got any centre-halves that have played or defended in those situations as a centre-back should, none of them go back, except the one centre-back who's played the majority of his career, which is Phillips. And a magnificent header as he's falling away there and just gets it away. He hasn't put a foot wrong since he stepped in. whatever happens in the next 24 hours or 48 hours in terms of incomings, he needs to sort of be absolutely proud of what he's done every time he's called upon. And I hope he gets a new contract and everything with Liverpool.
Do you know what he will get, Chris? Even if he doesn't get a new contract, he'll get a move. He'll get a really good move and well deserved as well.
Well deserved.
He hasn't actually put a foot wrong.
He hasn't, Jamie.
He genuinely hasn't put a foot wrong in any of the games he's been asked of him. So fair play.
But a slight criticism then on Klopp that why did he pick Williams ahead of him?
I think it's a distribution thing. I think the only thing that I look at, it has to, like, playing centre back for Liverpool, playing a lot of the positions for Liverpool is difficult the way that we are offensively. Centre back, you look at how split they are. You're basically isolated as a two. You're not just expected to defend comfortably in one-on-one situations. You're expected to be able to play. You're asking Phillips to step out with the ball and play. I think Williams is decent on the ball. I think what Klopp realised is what he misses with Phillips not being there. It's not worth what he gains with Williams being there.
But I also think it's significant since THIAGO's come back. Then he's gone for Phillips because he doesn't need to rely on his sort of ball playing ability, because THIAGO and Gini are probably the best in the league at sort of getting that ball and manipulating it. They don't need the centre back to do it.
Do you know what?
I think that may be a significant thing.
Red Steve put a great comment in there. Not even went on mad Matip runs. I thought he was excellent today, carrying the ball out of the fence.
It's the best I've seen him.
I don't see an issue with his distribution, to be honest. He's had games when he's given it away a bit sloppy, yeah, fair enough, but he can carry the ball. And it's not looking to dig out Reece Williams here on arm. Reece Williams is only 19 years old, Nat Phillips is 23, and there is a huge difference between a 23-year-old and a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
And he's just physically more able to play. He's much better suited. As Jamie said, he hasn't made a mistake. Like, he hasn't done anything wrong in any game he's played. Every game he's played, he's been in the running as being a man of the match contender. He's limited. Do you know
the big thing? And Gav touched on it before. There was a couple of things I've seen from him today, right? And I always think with footballers, you want to see them learning on the job. And you've seen a couple of times with Phillips now, like there was the one where he got exposed and he got left in a one-on-one situation. He was so composed. He didn't dive in. He didn't rush. And he basically just held him up, and we eventually we won the ball back. Then I seen him today. I think he stepped out with the ball a couple of times. He drove forward. He used the ball well. So you can see with every game, he's becoming acclimatized to this type of level and the expectations of him as a centre-back. But at the same time, he also, and I think this is his biggest strength, he knows his strengths and weaknesses. So he doesn't try to be something that he's not. So if you think back to somebody who was divisive for our fan base, Dejan Lovren used to think he was a different centre-back to what he was. Yeah. So he'd always have to go and try and win the ball and be this dominant centre-back. That wasn't his game. He didn't need to do that. Whereas Phillips, like, is if the ball's there, I'll go win it. I'll win it back, and then I'll give it to the players to play. And if we keep a clean sheet, or my man doesn't get away from me, I've done my job, and that's it. It's brilliant.
Rames Khalil says we need to keep Mo, lads. What do you think? Well, Rames, I don't think we should. I don't like talking about Mo Salah's future. I really don't. Just talk that he wants a new contract, and he's still contracted for another 2 seasons, I think. After this
3.
one, is it 3? 2024?
2020. Yeah. 2023. I beg your pardon.
So it's 2 seasons after this one.
Yeah.
And I don't really like talking about his future. I think that contract situation will probably get settled in the summer, or at the latest this time next year. That's usually how it works when you get down to around 18 months. But we just have to wait and see what happens with Mo Salah, because we're seeing a situation with Gini Wijnaldum at the moment where he's looking for supposedly a lot of money, or he's looking for a new challenge in his life. We don't know, so you have to kind of wait and see with these things. But like, if you don't want Mo Salah in your Liverpool side, I don't know. I don't know what to say to you. Someone said there earlier, he's the first man to score 20 goals in 4 seasons in a row since Ian Rush.
Think about that. Think about that for a second, guys.
Yeah, well, Ian Rush. Yeah, Ian Rush
predominantly plays on the right wing.
I don't know when Ian Rush last scored 20 goals in a season for Liverpool, but I would hazard a guess. I probably.
And if you think of, think of the players that have followed in that time, the quality of players that have followed, and Mo is standing out front of the queue.
And somebody else said there, I think it was Jamie, you said a stat about Ryan Giggs, and he's how many goals behind him?
19.
Yeah, he's played 470 less league games than Ryan Giggs.
Wow.
470 games less than Ryan Giggs. So going on averages, if he's 19 behind, he could probably do it by the end of this season. And in 450 games less than Ryan Giggs, he will be the top scoring wide player in the Premier League history, which is fucking phenomenal. And when you see some of the players that have been in there and mentioned, and he's talked down about when you talk about the likes of Hazard and different people. It's absolutely phenomenal. 1992, Rajiv thinks it might have been. I thought it might have been.
I thought it was like 82, 83, 84.
No, I thought it would have been a bit later than that, but I didn't know it would have been into the 90s like that, but fair enough. 92, 93, Rajiv now thinks. Maybe so, but Rush was just outstanding.
Yeah, but he didn't do it 4 years in a row in 92, 93. Do you know what I mean? If Rush done 4 years in a row, that was in the 80s, I'm imagining. There's no way Rush done that in the latter part of his career.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like the 4 in a row would have been before he went to Juventus. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do think you're right. So Jamie's gone with Mo Salah. Grizz, who have you gone with?
I don't think I chose one, did I?
Did you? Did I ask you the question?
Yeah.
No,
yeah, Grizz was answering there.
Yeah. I'll just go with Mo Salah as well. I can't disagree with that. You can't. Yeah, you have
amazing. Okay. I've asked you for the man of the match, and 10 minutes later we're talking about Ian Rush, and Grizz hasn't told us who it is. Unbelievable. That's what you pay the big money for, lads. Not that you pay anything. But Keith, did you give a man of the match?
No. Look, Mo Salah was excellent today. Honourable mention to Nat Phillips and Hendo at the back, but Salah was just amazing. And just on Ramez's point about we need to keep Mo, the problem, I think Mo turns into a centre forward, but if the talk of selling Mo, I think it's a lot of fans just think to rebuild, you're going to have to sell, but a sell to buy team, whether people like to admit that or not. So if we want to bring in an Mbappe or a Haaland or that, they're not going to come in and be parked behind Mo Salah. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to have to sell to rebuild the team. And I think that's why I don't think anybody realistically wants to sell Mo Salah. Do you know what I mean? Like, does anyone in here think it's going to benefit Liverpool to sell Mo Salah?
The only way it benefits Liverpool to sell Mo Salah is if they feel at 28, 29 years of age he's hit his peak and that's it. And the offer is just way too good to turn down. But there's loads you have to look at. Is he on the down? Right? Are you getting phenomenal money for him? And can you spend that money on somebody to replace him? Because there's talk of Liverpool building this second side. I don't think Klopp it's 2021 now. If Klopp stays with most of these players, you're now looking at 22, 23 season when he may start to rebuild. He's going in 2024. So he doesn't have the time like he had in previous years to take these players like a Wijnaldum or whoever it might be, or a Salah, and say, I'll just turn this fella into an absolute monster. He won't have the time unless he absolutely goes for it this season. So there's loads of reasons or loads of factors in what happens with Mo Salah. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest one will probably be down to Mo Salah. Does he want something different? Because let's be honest about it. You've paid 34 million for Mo Salah. You've absolutely made your money back on him. What's in today's game? It's all about sell-on value and what can you get from him and how can we replace him? But it might come down to the stage where Salah will say, listen, I'll sign another 3-year deal and I'll stay till I'm 31, 32, and then I'll go off and I'll play, I don't know, go back to Egypt and play, or go back to Italy and play, or whatever he might want to do. And Liverpool might have to take a minimal amount of money at that time, but they've absolutely earned that money on Mo Salah. You know what I mean? It's not all about the money you get at the end of it.
I think that we're probably a victim of circumstance in a way. I honestly think at the start of this season, I felt like the natural trajectory of this team, I thought you may see one or two of the stars naturally leave. And that's not because they didn't think that they were, we weren't going to win trophies. I just think naturally players sometimes fancy a new challenge. A lot of the players had won everything with Liverpool. And I did feel one of the front three at the end of this season would move on. I think if you look at, let's think of the best managers in the world that have built consistent teams, dynasties, Ferguson, the likes. He would always freshen the team up with 1 or 2 massive stars coming in to shoot a rocket up the arse of the remaining squad members. I feel if we weren't in a COVID world, I think Mo potentially might have moved to the likes of Madrid or Barcelona if they'd have had the money. I think the tone of Salah now has changed. I think a lot of what he's saying is he wants to stay at Liverpool, which I think is great news for Liverpool. I think it's a mix of things, though. I think all things being equal, you may have seen maybe himself move on at the end of the year. There's a lot of talk about Mbappe coming in. I think you're dead right, Keith. I think we're a buy to sell model. I think there is rumours of Mbappe coming in, and it would mean that one of the front 3 go. If you were to be a betting man now, you'd probably say of the 3, it would be Salah that would go. But I just think COVID has thrown that much of a spanner in the works. I don't think teams are going to be shelling out huge sums of money until we're getting fans back into the stadium for a sustained period of time. So I think Mo talks very glowingly about the club, and I can see him staying for a while now.
Kieran B says Salah has a good few more golden boots left in him with Liverpool. I think Salah is just looking for a few extra pounds. It might be the case, and this always starts with every player, regardless of who it is. Like, this happens with Steven Gerrard. This happened with Michael Owen. It happened with, if you go back years and years ago, Suarez, Fowler, they all want more money at some stage. That's how it works. If you're really, really good at your job, you get paid more, especially in the world of football. So I think Salah, he gets looked upon a bit harshly for me, and that's a media driven thing, because look, if he gets a penalty, it's on Sky all week as to how it wasn't, and it's the comparison to other strikers in the league that I won't name is ridiculous when it comes to decisions that are made about him. And he's targeted. There's no doubt about that. Nobody can convince me otherwise. So when it comes down to a simple thing like a contract negotiation, he's in talks about a new contract. That should be good news, but it's not. It's always made out to be something negative because it's Mo Salah, and I don't know where this has come from. I really don't, because he's still having his Chelsea days thrown on him by certain people, which is absolutely off the wall. As to why that's happened. Tahir asks, how many watches are you wearing, Grizz? He's wearing 2, because he has 2, he owns 2, and he's wearing 2. Let me see. There is a lot of talk about centre back, so I'm going to get into it now. I want to give a shout to Xherdan Shaqiri, please, if that's okay. Yep. I thought he was very good on the ball. I thought he worked extremely hard. He was intelligent in everything he done today. That assist was brilliant for the goal as well. So I'd like to give a mention to him. Before we get on to the centre half stuff, and I'm seeing a comment there from Avo, and I'm not putting that on the screen, Avo. No, we're not getting back into clean film and Veranda Cheese's stories. It's not happening, all right? But before we get on to centre-back stuff and people grill Grizz for the next 15 minutes or so, THIAGO.com. So this is the sponsor of this show. They're going to be sponsoring the show twice a month, starting from, it was this month, but starting officially from February right through to the end of the season. So what THIAGO do is they do watches and timepieces. That's what I should say, isn't it, Keith? Timepieces.
Yeah, timepieces. Yeah.
Timepieces, jewellery and gifts for men and women. THIAGO.com, and you go there, you have a look. They have a ridiculous range for all styles. They're really, really good. Now, us being absolute spas, got told by THIAGO, pick one, lads. And I literally showed my wife, because I'm not a big watch wearer. I would wear one on a special occasion, I suppose. The only time I put a watch on my hand is when I play golf, because my watch is me distance finder. So I don't usually wear a watch. But I said to my wife, she went, yeah, you do need a watch. Can I pick one? I said, yeah. She picked this. Turns out we all picked the same one, right? So so we either all have great taste, or I don't know what's going on, but they are beautiful. They arrived during the week. They're boxed beautifully. I don't know if people can see this. I can try to put this up for you. So they're boxed beautifully. You can see and there, they're really nice. They're a beautiful watch, I have to say. And we all received them during the week. We're all extremely happy with it. The prices are really good. There, Keith has it on his wrist. Grizz has it on one of his wrists. He's going to try figure out which one now. Jamie has one as well. Jamie has a different style to us. But it was... I've
got time for everyone.
He's got time for everyone. But
except United fans.
They're absolutely beautiful. They're They come in the box is lovely. This one comes with actually an extra strap, so you can wear leather or kind of a mesh strap. And listen, the people at THIAGO.com, thanks a million for sending them out to us, first of all. But I went back to them and I said, look, our viewers are brilliant. They get involved with our sponsors. They do. They give their opinion and stuff. Can you do anything? And he said, look, straight away, Daytrippers 15 when they're at checkout, and they will get 15% off their orders. I know they're having a sale at the moment, so you get the sale price and you get 15% off on top of that. So if you want to go to THIAGO.com, absolutely do so. Really good deals, really nice. And I know now if I'm going somewhere important, I can put this watch on, and it looks absolutely. It looks great. I actually had it on today in the house now. I might keep it on, you never know. But no, me.
And Guillaume Balaguer as well, we realised.
Guillaume Balaguer wears THIAGO. There you go. It's all happening. It's all happening. So there you go. That's your THIAGO stuff. The link is in the description.
Get a good price, Chris.
The link is in the description. And look, you go there, you get your 15% off, and we are closing in on 8,000 subscribers. So what I'm going to do is, our 10,000 is our next target. So when 10,000 comes around, when we hit 10,000, I tell you what, I'll go and I'll get a THIAGO watch for the winner of their choice, and they can have that along with a few other bits. All right. So hit the subscribe button, get us to 10k, and we'll start giving stuff away, because we're due a giveaway. Usually it's Grizz singing songs. We might get to sing a song as well when we hit 10k, but when we do hit 10k, we will do a giveaway, and we will include a THIAGO watch of your choice in that, sorted out by ourselves. Now, centre backs. So it got a bit heated last week. Me and Grizz had a virtual hug afterwards, and everything was okay. But Grizz, I'm going to start with you. Ben Davis, not the Ben Davis of Spurs, of Preston North End, is linked or in discussions with a move to Liverpool for £2 million. One, what do you make of this? And two, there's a point towards a second centre half being looked at, because surely, and no disrespect to Ben Davis, but surely that is not Liverpool's solution to this problem.
I think we can't say that, Gav, that it's not the solution, because I wouldn't look at the price. I wouldn't look at where he's coming from. I just look at, we need a centre back, and if they've decided that he's one of, or if he's a centre back that's needed to help us in this fucking mad, crazy period, then so be it. I just want to say that he's had first part of his medical yesterday. It's just to be completed tomorrow, the second part of the medical. He will be announced. That's a done deal. Absolutely no idea about him, what kind of player he is before today, until a few hours ago. But from all reports and all scouting reports and what people have told me sort of via DM, I've tried to get in touch with as many Preston fans, and they speak so highly of him. They speak of him in the same mold as, dare I say it, lads, a Daniel Agger type defender. A Daniel Agger type defender. Elegant, tall. Even though he's tall, apparently he's not brilliant in the air.
He's not. He's only 6'1".
Yeah, he's not brilliant in the air, but he's very, very good at reading the game. And just like Jamie was touching upon about our centre backs having to be comfortable on the ball, they say he's the best passer in League One, in the Championship. Sorry, he's absolutely sublime on the ball, especially his passes into the sort of midfield, breaking lines with those passes. Keith, do you remember we were discussing sort of the kind of players we're scouting at centre back? Yeah. And they all seem to be left-footed, tall, and brilliant on the ball.
Yeah,
this guy
fits seems to fit the mould on that, doesn't he? You know, but the thing as well, now look, I'll put my hands up. I don't know Ben Davis, but I like that when Grizz let me know this, we've all been looking him up, I'm sure, and sort of reading about him and looking at videos, and the stuff you're hearing back is that he's a passer. Daniel Agger is a great comparison from what I've seen in the clips. Now I haven't seen this fella, so I'm only basing it on clips, but I suppose he's very quick as well, which I think is a huge asset to have. If you have a player, the
They talk about his recovery pace. Now, probably Jamie probably can sort of expand on what they mean by that. As opposed to
you were going to say Jamie or Gav there, and then you just stopped, didn't you?
No, you didn't even enter my mind, to be honest with you. When I'm into the place, I'm going to be honest, but because look, there's a difference between being rapid, sort of going forward or chasing sort of someone over it, but a recovery pace. I think that's slightly different, right, Jamie?
Joe Gomez is the perfect example. So, you know, when you talk about our fullbacks, and at the moment, last few games, they've been deeper. They've not felt that they can bomb on and leave us 1v1 at the back, because if they try something crazy or they get caught in possession and there's a big space in behind, they know that Gomez or Van Dijk 1v1, even if the striker gets a head start, their ability to sprint over 10, 15 yards will clear up a lot of mess before it even becomes a problem. So they have that security. This is why Liverpool, that the fullbacks haven't felt that they can really aggressively bomb on. So you've seen it today. I think Robbo was probably more defensive than Trent. So you'll, rather than having two going, you'll have one going and one staying. If you have two centre-backs that can beat anybody 1v1, like Joe Gomez is an absolute thoroughbred. Him and Van Dijk, I mean, how do you get past them? They're strong in the air. They're quicker than you. So if, like, the two things I'd look for any centre-back coming into our side is, one, pace. You need pace. And two, be able to play. And I've seen a graphic that went out today. His completed passes is his ability to basically ping it like Van Dijk over the press into maybe whether it's Mane, Salah's feet or into the space. Like, that will be worth its weight in gold. And plus, let's be honest, you've got Klopp's coaching. You've got a team of exceptional coaches to try and develop and bring him on. So fingers crossed it's a Mickey Edward special.
Bay Scott Adams says fee of 2 million agreed. Ben Davis availability, affordability, age, ability in possession, recovery pace, and added function as a left back. Markham has a good quick fix to Liverpool's centre back crisis. Keith, nothing. I've nothing against Ben. I've never seen him play, so I can't give you a breakdown of him. I haven't looked him up on YouTube. I'm not going to pretend I know him. But all I do know is that we're signing a centre back from Preston for 2 million quid because we've no centre halves left. Does he play? Does he get a game?
Yeah, I think he will get games, certainly at the moment. Key thing on this is he's a homegrown player as well. You know what I mean? We can't bring in a non-homegrown player unless we get one out. And if we, if we're having trouble getting one out, well, then this makes sense. Bring him in. It's 2 million. If it doesn't work out, he'll be sold in the summer. Probably for more than 2 million. The fact he's 2 million is because he only has 6 months left in his deal. Celtic are going bleeding mad over this because they thought he had him on a pre-contract.
Yeah, David Walsh says there Celtic are pissed. He was due to sign a pre-contract with them.
Keith, do you know what I get? Do you know what the way I look at it, Keith? And this is what keeps me going and sort of I think it makes sense in every way. We're paying a 2 million fee to release either Fabinho or Hendo into midfield. Yeah,
that's very true.
For the rest of the season. And that's
but are we? Because, like, are you? You're saying one of them released into midfield? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
one of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going. Yeah. So, do you think if this guy comes in and this guy comes in alone, when you look at Phillips and you look at Williams and you look at Matip who can't stay fit, are you comfortable enough with a centre half partnership of Fabinho on the right and this guy on the left, while we chase a Premier League title and possibly European Cup?
In the circumstances, and evaluating everything that we've discussed over the last couple of weeks in terms of finances, availability, etc., absolutely I do. Added on to that, as I said, we haven't stopped there. So this is the bonus. Yeah, this is the bonus, Gav. So this is like a sort of, how would you say, just a banker. We've got that. We've got a body in who's fit, who's playing weekly, who's absolutely ready to step in to a position that he's comfortable with, first and foremost. As brilliant as Henderson has been, you can tell he's not completely confident there, and you can tell he's edging to get him into midfield.
Well, I don't know, Grizz,
But Jamie, but the reason why, but let me finish. The reason why, Jamie, is because and the reason why it's crucial we release, I think, Henderson more than Fabinho, because Fabinho is sort of been magnificent, is because James Milner can't play all the games, Jamie. That's the key part. If Ox was fit, Jamie Milner was a few years younger, then yeah, I see exactly what you're about to say about Henderson. But the fact of the matter is, Milner, started getting cramps today, like for example, right, in hamstrings. This is key. And to pay a 2 million fee to release either Henderson or Fabinho, more likely
Henderson, it has to be Henderson. It has to be Henderson because if Wijnaldum's in the 6 and you leave him there, I just want to see Jordan Henderson on the right side of the midfield tree, please. Just at any stage, please. With THIAGO, Henderson, Wijnaldum behind him, and Robertson and Trent either side, and Salah and Mane and Firmino, and I'm good.
To be fair, you've been consistent with that. That is, you said that all along. Like
that's all I want.
It's all that's good down the right hand side, basically.
Yeah, and he's having a big influence on the side while he plays centre back, and there will be people that will knock him for what he's doing as centre back somehow. Like, they'll find a way, but genuinely, he was brilliant at Spurs. He was brilliant today, and him and Milner, I keep saying it, they make standards and they make them. People keep them. They don't let them lie. They don't let them settle. That, like, Henderson's balling at THIAGO, he's balling at this player. Milner's doing the same. He's having an absolute go at people, and over silly things that you might think are silly, like probably didn't get to him quick enough. I want you there quicker. Simple as that. Because if you slow down, the next fella slows down. Next of all, we're in trouble. But I really just want to see. I just want to see Wijnaldum in the 6. Now, it'll probably happen where Henderson will go into the 6 and THIAGO will stay further forward with Wijnaldum, but I'd love to see Wijnaldum stay in the 6. But I'm still a bit thrown on this because, at the end of the day, you're still going to end up with a midfielder and a championship level centre back at centre half of Liverpool with 17 games to go in the league.
But this is the catch. So this is the banker. Now, if we can, and for the first time since, I don't know, probably the Andy Carroll scenario, where last day we had an exciting day, this is the catch. The catch is we haven't stopped yet. So, Gav, I think it's unfair of you to be so despondent so early. I'd say relax, and I'd say let
I'm not
them
despondent. I'm not.
You sound slightly despondent.
No, I'm not despondent. What I am is I'm a little bit bemused at how, I've nothing against this player that's coming in. He's probably better than Williams and Phillips.
That's right. This is the key.
That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. But for me, if you're bringing this fella in, you're saying to Phillips and Williams, look, your run is over. We have this fella. We have Fabinho. We have Henderson. But we're also bringing this guy in. And don't get me wrong. If we sign a centre back tomorrow that is of the class that you could be happily go in and say, I'm putting him beside this fella, Ben Davies, and I'm getting Fabinho and Henderson back into midfield. I'm absolutely okay with that, but I'm not okay. And I'm not. And listen, if it happens, it absolutely happens.
No. I'll tell you why.
But I'm not okay. But I'll let you go now. But I'm not happy with the thoughts of this centre half, okay, playing with a midfielder at centre back, and us trying to convince ourselves that it's all okay. I'm not okay with that.
I'll tell you the key to that. And it's the key that we're assuming Joel Matip is dead. He's not dead. You see, so if you can bring Joel Matip to even play that one game a week scenario, then Joel Matip, then you can play Joel Matip and you can play Davis, in my opinion, comfortably. A tall right footer, a tall left footer, both comfortable on the ball, and then you can release Fabinho and Henderson into midfield and rotate with Ginny, because you got to remember, Ginny has played every game, every minute. Fucking hell, we haven't got another option at 6 unless you say Hendo, but you Hendo as an 8. So Fabinho can be released into midfield. I think it's a no-brainer in this for this deal. But the tough one will be to get another centre back, and I agree, of a higher caliber.
I can jump in. Oh, sorry, go.
Yeah, no, go ahead, mate. No, you go, Keith. Go on.
I was just going to say something Gav touched on there. Would you be happy with this fella going in for the run in the second half of the season? Paul Merson, and I can't believe I'm saying it, is the only one who's made the point publicly about Liverpool not getting the credit they deserve for being where they are, having 12 or 13 different centre-half pairings in 20 Premier League games. We've put fucking everyone there and anyone there. Now, we don't know what Ben Davies is like. We can assume that he's going to be, you know, a certain level. He's not going to be top class, but he could be good. He could be very, very serviceable and very functional. That it does allow us to get midfield players back into midfield. You know what I mean? Because we've all said it. Our play is stunted by the fact that we don't have centre-backs playing centre-back. That we have, you know, our fullbacks are in attacking. If you have two natural centre-backs, I don't think it's a death knell for Phillips either. I think Phillips,
absolutely.
Phillips,
I agree.
Playing his way into contention for certain games.
But this is what I'm saying. Like,
not for Phillips.
But this is what I'm saying, Keith. Like Grizz is making notes about Matip there. But we have to stop this. We have to stop going on as if Matip is there every week and sure there we have Matip. We don't. We simply don't. Okay, he turns up for 30% of Liverpool games, so that has to stop. What I'm saying is, if you tell me that Phillips and Williams, okay, or Phillips, say Phillips and Matip are your backup, right? Because of Matip's injury problems, and Phillips has done well. Williams has looked a bit fish out of water at times, so we'll move Williams out of the snare for a minute. But if you tell me that you're going to say, look, we can manage because Matip will be back for certain games, but we're going to officially put him down as backup. We're going to have this guy Davis, okay, beside him as the backup. You're going to play Fabinho as a centre-back for the rest of the season. That's just how it goes. Plus, you give me a centre-back that's a top-class centre-back. I'm absolutely fine with it. The only issue I end up with is how the fuck we get to the 1st of February with all this going on. That's the only issue I have. And I'm willing to get over that because, listen, I've backed FSG on certain things. I've gone against them. But then I forget about it. You know, you talk in the moment. You take it as it is. You give it an opinion. You might be absolutely stuck to that opinion and you might be, you know, no moving on it, and there's probably I have a little bit of movement on it, but my own, if Grizz texts me tomorrow morning and says this Coletta car is on, it's happening, and he seems very highly rated, I go, yeah, it shouldn't have got to this, but listen, water under the bridge, let's move on. That's all I'm trying to say.
Too many people are hung up on it, you know. So
I think I'm pretty much the same as Gav, to be fair. If I expected us to bring in two. If you know, I think that's what this hinges on. I think if you look at Davis, I think he is an improvement to what we have. He offers us something different in that he's naturally left-sided and can ping a ball and is very quick. So that automatically is a step up. I think the big thing now is who else do we go and get? Because then all of a sudden he becomes potentially the cover. Or I would worry going with two new centre-backs in this system. So I think even if we do bring in two, I think you'll see Henderson or Fabinho 100%. As the centre-back for the next block of games until the new centre-backs get up to speed with the way that we play. But what it does give us is genuine options. So the likes of Reece Williams, look, he's a young kid. He shouldn't have been anywhere near the first team yet. You won't see him near the first team now. We take him out the firing line. So I think what it does, I think it's a good bit of business. I think you have the potential there to coach and develop a really good player who seems, from the people that have been close to him, to be very highly regarded. He gives us something we don't have without a huge outlay of money, but it also gives us the opportunity now to kick on and try and get the centre-back that's going to make the biggest impact and allow us to get our world-beating centre midfielders back into the position where they can influence.
The local journalists around Preston have talked about him as an absolute hidden gem. They didn't want him. They said if they could choose one player out of their team that they could keep, it was him. That's how highly regarded they said. They said, but they wish him all the best, and they said he will absolutely fit into a footballing team like Liverpool, which is amazing. I mean, this is the kind of sort of I can't see a downside to it, guys. That's my point. Yeah. I just don't see a downside to it.
Alan Rodgers used to play for Nottingham Forest, Leicester left back. I do another podcast with him, and he does a lot of coaching and scouting with Mickey Adams, who was ex-Leicester boss, and he's watched him quite a lot, and he said he's an excellent footballer. Like, he has absolutely no concerns that he could step in and do a job. I think I think we just need to be careful with the expectations. I think the success of this window hinges on us bringing in another and allowing this lad the time to come in and try and find his feet. This idea that we can bring him in and make him the centerpiece of our title run and Champions League run is a hell of an ask for a lad coming from the Championship.
Yeah, that's where I am. That's where I am, and like as I said, if we're sitting here at 11 o'clock tomorrow night and we've signed Ben Davis and we've signed, I don't know, this whatever his name is, Carr and or Botman or whoever it might be, I go, yeah, absolutely perfect, because not only is it really good business, I'm not happy it's the 1st of February being done, but it's good business. But also when you look forward to next season, you can say, right, you have Van Dijk, you have Gomez, you have this really say Botman for argument's sake, you have got Botman, and then you never know, this guy Davis might push ahead of Matip because he's available. You know what I mean? It's a big thing in football. So I think it just gets you a player in the door that in 6 months' time, when your two main fellas come back, you have a fella 6 months down the line.
But I think your frustration lies with, and probably we all agree, that why have we waited so long to do it?
That's what I'm annoyed
about. That's the frustration. That's the annoyance. I tweeted earlier in the window, beggars can't be choosers, and this is it. We can't. I know you want sort of plans brought forward and someone sort of, who we had in mind for summer to bring it forward. Well, it seems by the how do you pronounce his name, Keitho? Because I'm going to call him something completely. The Kalatakar or Salatasar?
Kalatasar, yeah.
Kalatasar, yeah.
I'm calling him Kalatakar.
Yeah, I didn't ask for his first name.
We want, lads, you know what I mean?
Look at Keith.
We could be well wrong.
First name.
Oh, I thought he had a middle name. I thought it was Kalatakar. Is Kaleta his first name?
No, Duje is his first name.
Duje. Oh, yeah, no.
I'll call him Duje. Duje sounds good.
Like an Oxlade-Chamberlain. The Croatian Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Or Simon. I'll call him Simon. How's that? But the point... But the
Shaletasar is the correct way to call it.
Shaletasar. Thanks, Flair. Nearly mashed up your name as well. But Shaleta, but with regards to Shaletasar, it shows that we are trying to bring, because he was one of 5-6 centre backs that I knew we had interest in a couple of months back. So what it shows is that we are trying to bring a summer target forward, but that drives us mad even more. Like, why didn't we try this at the start of the window as opposed to the end of the window? And my only conclusion is financially, we're trying to squeeze them. We're trying to bully. Remember, I told you guys, we're bullies in the market. We are actually trying to bully clubs and players into the market. And now the story goes that Shaletasar is ready and waiting. Today was waiting to fly into Liverpool and go for the medical, and then suddenly Marseille pulled the plug on it for now because they can't get a replacement. I mean, Grizz, this is it. Why couldn't we have done that before?
Well, Adam Whitehouse has kicked it all off, because we've 23 hours now and 27 minutes left in the window, right? And he says private jet from Lille to Blackpool. This is going to be the crack tomorrow. Private jets, right? Tracking them. Mercedes Vito's getting followed around Liverpool. It's going to be amazing. I love when Liverpool are involved, regardless of how big or small the transfer is, because it just absolutely flies. Go on, Jamie.
I was going to say, Grizz, I think the thing that annoys me, right, and I'll ask you because you're your man with the ear to the ground, right? If Joel Matip hadn't got injured against Tottenham, do you think we would have done this? Because I'll be honest, I don't think we would, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, I agree.
This shouldn't have. This was a problem before Matip got injured against Spurs, but it seems like now when he came back in and he obviously got injured again, the club have gone, oh shit, we'll have to do something now. It should never have got to this. It should have been done on January the 1st, no?
100% agree. I can't argue. But the only thing is, I think we still would have done the Ben Davies still. Okay. We would have still done the Ben Davies because that's an absolute given. It doesn't affect the non-foreigner rule. It doesn't affect sort of the homegrown rule. It doesn't affect sort of our finances too much, wage structure, anything like that. The frustration, as you guys are saying, it's that we're trying to bring a summer target early. Like we tried Botman. I mean, I know a couple of journalists have said no, but I'm telling you, we tried for Botman, right? Again, structural finance problem. We offer them less than they want. we go for SALAH, and they've agreed to our deal or offer, but it's a problem with this because we've gone in so late, Jamie, and that's it. That is baffling. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to sort of justify it. Like you tried to justify it, try to make what we try to do on this show, and we've done it every transfer window. We tried to give a rational argument to both sides why it could be. I mean, Keith may have a defense for FSG because he's a cloud man. I'm not. I can't this time. Over to you, Keith, if you have.
Yeah, it's not a defense I have for FSG. I am.
Yeah, it is. Go on.
Yes, it is. Go on, Keith. I knew it.
It's not.
Here we go. Put the kettle on.
I reckon, right, that Liverpool wanted to bring a transfer target forward. I would bet my life that it's one of the Leipzig centre halves. I would bet me bollocks that Liverpool's main transfer centre half target is one of the Leipzig centre halves. We have zero chance of getting them now in this window, right? Not that they're not for sale, but I think Leipzig would, if they got the money for Upamecano, they'd sell them, but not to us because we're playing them in the Champions League. And also, people forget the reason Upamecano is a top target for us in the summer is because the buyout clause drops to 35 million euro, I think, or 35 million pound in the summer. That's not in effect now. So to get him now, you'd have to pay top whack. For us to get him now, we'd have to pay top whack on top of the top whack. So that was never an option for me. I think it's simply a case of, I agree with what Jamie said, and I understand the frustration. If Matip didn't go down, we wouldn't be bringing anyone in. We'd have gone with what we had. Maybe, as Grizz says, Ben Davies might have been done if they could have got it done for 2 million. Why not? But I don't think we would have brought in. I think the Matip one's after swinging it. Yeah, and the fact that Matip is too unreliable now and it's a bad injury to Matip means they're having to be looking at it. Whether you agree with it or not, it's another thing.
But for me, the timing of all this throws and the amount of money on Ben Davies throws that argument out the window, because Ben Davies is either at being looked at since Wednesday and found, or he's been known about. And no situation has changed here at Liverpool, bar Matip. So we needed a centre-half before Matip. After Matip, you need two. So the whole Ben Davies thing on the 31st of January or the 1st of February makes no sense to me that they would have done anything. I don't think they would have done a tap if Matip. I think they might have got a centre-half like a Ben Davies at a push, because, okay, we can do this, that'll be grand. But I genuinely think that's all you would have ended up with Matip. And I think the fact that they're going in, apparently they're going to go in and do something along the lines of an established, player at centre-back, I think that marks the end of Joe Matip's Liverpool career for me.
I think it's going to be a loan deal at best that we'll bring in tomorrow. Okay. I think the talk of size has died down, and you'd be looking at probably Divock going the other way on that one. Or you're not registering Virgil for the second half of the season if he's not going to come back.
No, you're registering Virgil. And I think that's significant as well, in the fact that we weren't going to do something major. But again, because of Joe Matip's injury, we've had to try to bring a target of the summer forward. As I said, I'm 100% convinced we still do a Ben Davies type deal if the situation wasn't sort of as it is.
Do you know the thing about the Matip injury as well is it's kind of kneecapped us a little bit, because clubs now know just how desperate we are. Exactly. If we'd have done this at the start of the window without, literally being down, not even, it's past the bare bones now, I think, at centre-back, to be putting the dinner ladies in there next. Yeah. I think we now go and try and negotiate. A club can go, no, go fuck yourselves. We don't need to do this. Or it's a 10 million premium. It's a 15 million premium. And we're scrambling, and it's the last day, and it could have been avoided. Look, I'm not going to throw me toys out the pram here and stamp my feet. Look, on the whole, FSG have been very good owners for Liverpool. I just think we've put ourselves in a situation that could have been very easily avoided should we be doing this 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, and they just want to pick up on something that's getting hopped around in the chat about Sepp Vandenberg's gone. That frees up in non-homegrown. Sepp Vandenberg's not a non-homegrown registered player. He's an under 21 or something like that.
Yeah, so no, he's not registered. I don't think he's registered for Premier League.
He doesn't go towards the quota.
But Keith, I'm again. You're too nice, and you're such a gentleman. I love you to bits, but you're just too soft. I'd dash Adrian tomorrow for that. I'd fuck him off tomorrow.
Yes,
and I just don't club will as well.
I don't think don't think Klopp has proved over here he's very loyal to players, very loyal, too loyal to some players.
He has, but I think,
and I can't see him being an Adrian.
Yeah,
Me own opinion.
I think he might. I think he could if he needed to.
I think it's a last resort.
Yeah, but it could be something where they factored wherever they've offered, say, a Marseille and going, listen, it's going to cost us, I don't know, does it cost you £500,000 to get rid of Adrian, whatever wages he's on? Maybe even half that. I don't know what he's on. But they could have factored in and went, listen, it's going to cost us $250,000 for Adrian, so we just knock $250,000 off the bid to them and we even it up at that. But look, listen,
just quickly to get the listeners and viewers sort of give them a sleepless night. The reason why I think something will happen tomorrow is because I told you guys there's 2 medicals that were booked for Monday, and this one is the Ben Davis is already done. He's just finishing his medical tomorrow. That's done, and there's the medical team are on standby for another medical. Now they only get told to be on standby when the club are confident of striking a deal or on the verge of a breakthrough. So I haven't got a definitive name. It seems it's like SALAH, but don't be surprised if Botman's looked at again and they've come to our structure of payment. Just saying.
Reports in France are sort of saying they've heard nothing about SALAH on the French side.
Yeah,
well, so it's interesting to see.
You never know.
The Demiral one that getting thrown in, we're not paying 45 million for Demiral.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. Jonathan says only 2 dislikes on the YouTube. United fans must be exhausted after celebrating that title win 2 weeks ago. No, it's the same 2 people since we started. I know who they are, so you don't have to worry about it. We laugh, we laugh and chuckle about it. It's all right. Lads, it's been a brilliant show. Just to let people know, the forum is on tomorrow night, but the forum will be looking at the final hour of the window between 10 and 11 o'clock. If stuff happens before that,
really?
Great. Yeah. So the lads are going to bring a few... the lads are... what?
I might just join in, pop in.
No, you weren't. You can't. You were asked to do when you said no. The lads will bring topics to chat around, but listen, if stuff happens pre 10 o'clock, of course they will discuss it then. If stuff is still hanging in the balance right up till 11, they will stay with you till 11 and beyond to see exactly what happens.
Gav, can you please let Grizz come on tomorrow? But the only rule is he's got to come in with his yellow tie, Sky Sports News gear. Old Jim White.
If Grizz comes in with the yellow tie on, listen, Grizz has access to this. He can come in whenever he wants. I'm only messing. And he usually does jump in. I think he jumped in to say Happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah.
So no, listen, loads of us have access to this, so we can actually drop in and out whenever we feel like it. But tomorrow night, I know it is Ray Dicko, it's Andy Young, it's Shane Davron, and it's who's the 4th person on tomorrow night?
Ray Brady.
Ray Brady, of course. I only had one Ray in my head. So then 4 are on tomorrow. Grizz might drop in, I might drop in. I will be in the background putting up any deals that are happening up onto the screen, but that is happening. As for the rest of the week, there'll be a midweek fix. Jamie is going to be hosting the midweek fix this week. He's going to be hosting from now on. So every single Wednesday, Jamie will have the midweek fix. I think I'm going to do it every week with him. I think Grizz is going to do it every week with him. I think Keith might do it every week as well, but Grizz may have to drop out because of carnage contract negotiations and stuff like that. So that's what it's going to look like this week. But we will do something on Tuesday, 100%. Jamie will have the midweek fix on Wednesday. We will definitely do something on Thursday night. We will definitely do something on Friday night, and of course take our Saturday off if that's okay. Jamie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on Wednesday.
Looking forward to it, mate.
Good stuff. Grizz, see you tomorrow night. Yellow tie, you know.
Yep. I'm gonna rummage through my clothes and see if I got anything.
Shades on, toothpick.
Resembles anything Jim White. You know,
big glass of milk. Somebody did say that. I was saying about when we get to 10k, we're going to try give away some stuff to people.
I've got to do the exercise bike.
But somebody did remind us that at 10k, Grizz has promised to do a show on an exercise bike. So that's quality.
How do you get yourself into these situations?
No. Rephrase that. How does Grizz get himself into this? Because he does it all the time. It's amazing. But listen, Grizz, if you want to drop in tomorrow night, you absolutely can. Keith, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we will talk to you during the week as well.
Thanks for having me.
Good stuff. Listen, that has been the Fatback 4. It's been very, very good. I am now off to watch the rest of Schitt's Creek. I'm on the last series and it's brilliant. Go and watch it on Netflix. And then tomorrow I'm most definitely taking pictures of all these prizes we have for this Keen campaign, and I'm definitely getting this sorted, because do you know what, the prizes are sitting here and I keep losing them. I keep fucking losing stuff. I keep going, where's that fucking gone? And listen, when you have a 1-year-old wandering around, he just picks stuff up and flings it. He doesn't care. So I'm getting a picture of all these, getting them in a box and getting them across to football prizes that are going to help us out. And hopefully by the end of this week we will have the full details for you to get involved, and it's going to be a brilliant cause with brilliant prizes. And we might do like a show one night just dedicated to that, and where we try raise some funds. But that is it. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for all your support. We're getting close to 8k, by the way. We're only about 40 off now, which is top of the bus. Right, that's it. Over now.